how are you? I'm doing so. I've missed you guys. I've missed like doing this so much. The first day I took like 3 days off. For those of you who don't know, I just did this big thing called Glowmas where I filmed a video every single day in December, and for the first few days of January I just wanted to take like a couple days off, rejuvenate myself, get a little bit more creative again, because towards the end of Glowmas I was lagging a little. The first day of my break I was like, this is amazing, I don't have to film, I don't have to upload. And then by like the second half of the first day I was like, I'm bored. I was like, what time is it? I want to go do something, I'm bored. Day 2 I was just super bored. I watched a ton of Netflix, and then today is day 3 and I was like, I'm filming. I'm supposed to post tomorrow anyway. It actually kind of works out, but I was just like, I need to get in front of a camera because I'm itching to like, this is like my hobby, you know what I mean? This is like the only thing I really do besides watching YouTube. So this is kind of like the thing I do. But anyway, I thought it would be really fun because like new year, same me, same negativity towards brands. I decided today would be fun to do an anti-haul. New year, new anti-haul. Wig. I've been trying to learn like the Twitter local lingo and I think I'm failing miserably at that. So I just wanted to go through, first and foremost, I'm on a no-buy for the next till February 21st, which is my birthday. I'm on a no-buy. So I wasn't gonna buy any of this stuff right meow anyway, but now I'm really not gonna buy it right me ever, because I think it's bad. I've just noticed that since the new year, there has been some really exciting releases. We have Rihanna releasing tons of stuff. Finally, she's giving us a concealer. Morphe is releasing 60 foundations that all still look beige for being 60 foundations, but I'm not gonna judge it yet. They're releasing that. They're releasing a concealer and like setting powders. There's a lot going on, but I've also noticed a little bit of tomfoolery happening within these brands. So I decided, let's shake things up. My hair probably looks so bad right now. All I did was brush it and put it in this little half up, half down thing. Is my makeup even cute? I don't know what's happening. If you hate the little screensaver I have going on back there that's fish, it's the only thing I could think of after the fireplace for Glowmas. I was like, what can we do that's not super distracting behind me? Also, if you see any staining on my floor behind me, I was trying a project last night because I was bored and I tried some depotting and it did not go well. So there's a big stain, a lot of stains on my carpet that I need to buy some cleaner and fix. Anyway, let's just jump right in. I'm gonna go to my good friend Trend Mood and we are just going to slam some of these 2019 releases. I'm so excited. I've missed being like sassy on the internet. This is so exciting. Okay. It looks like Physicians Formula is coming out with a collaboration with Casey Holmes, who is a YouTuber here on the YouTube. This is gonna be a rough video, I'm so sorry. I don't really watch her or follow her, and this is no shade to her at all because everything I've heard about her, I've never heard her in any drama and she seems like a very nice girl, but I don't like this Physicians Formula thing at all. So they kind of did, it's like a face palette and it looks like there's eyeshadows. You can only see half of the palette. It looks like there is a butter bronzer, a butter blush, and what I'm assuming is a butter highlighter. It says it's limited edition. And then there's a bunch of shades. I'm seeing some like whites and oranges and reds and greens. To be perfectly honest, from what I can see from this, it just looks stupid. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not interested in this at all. I love the butter bronzer, but their blushes are kind of just so-so for me. I haven't tried their highlighters. I've heard they're okay, but honestly, this is going to be, does it say how much it was gonna be? I don't know how much this is gonna be yet, but you're better off if you're interested in buying one of their highlighters, just buying one of their single pan highlighters. These eyeshadows look like they're kind of crappy. I don't really like the colors. It's very boring. They put like a pop of green instead of a pop of blue, so I commend them for that. But these are also very Christmassy colors, and Christmas has gone and passed. She is over. I'm not going to be wearing red and green together really anymore. It's like a personal choice, I guess. I get the appeal of having everything all in one place, like having the butter bronzer, a blush, a highlighter all in one place, but realistically, these types of palettes, because like they would be good for travel, like stuff like this, like a face palette. I don't really understand and maybe it's just a me thing too, but I never use face and eyeshadow palettes that are like palettes together, like palettes that have face products and eyeshadow products. I don't use them. I had a bomb palette that had eyeshadows in it and face products, and I never pulled for it because first of all, I didn't really know where to store it in my collection. Like, do I store it with eyeshadows or do I store it with face products? That might be I have a too big of a collection problem, but that's a problem I have. And the second problem I have with this is it's like, pick one, you know what I mean? I'm not that pressed for space when I travel that I need something this all in one, you know what I mean? I'd rather they had put it and done like a really cool face palette and maybe done like 2 shades of the butter bronzer, 2 different blushes and 2 different highlights instead of having that little eyeshadow palette down there, because in my opinion it just cheapens the whole look of it, first of all, and second of all, it makes it instantly something I'm not going to buy because it's not really a usable product for me. So that was the first thing on that. I don't really know how I feel about Lime Crime as a brand right now. I still, even after that whole video, I watched the video Jay Kissa did where she interviewed the person, and I still just didn't, it's not really her fault because it was her first time interviewing someone. I wouldn't have been asking like the hard-hitting questions on that either, but it seems kind of like they're just trying to pretend that Doe Deer is out of the picture, but I think she is still definitely making money. She just doesn't have any more creative input, so I don't really know how I feel going forward about supporting Lime Crime as a brand, and I'd love to hear your guys' opinions on that because I'm kind of confused about how I feel about that. But regardless, they put out the Lime Crime Venus XL2, which Lime Crime is a big offender of the thing that like Urban Decay does, where they just keep releasing the same line over and over and over and over again of different palettes with mildly different color schemes and like putting it in the same family. I feel like there are probably 60 Venus palettes out right now. That just seems like a lot to me. So regardless, I don't really love that they just keep reusing the same concept. I wish I could see something new and exciting from them. I think that would be cool. But also when you look inside the palette, it kind of reminds me of like a Tarte palette. Like, it's just boring. There's some kind of pretty greens and pinks which do kind of spice up the palette a little bit for me. And I actually don't hate those green tones. Greens are not my favorite shadows. I'm not like the biggest green fan, but I don't hate these green tones. I don't hate the color story inherently. Like, I don't look at this and I'm like, oh, this is ugly, but it's also just boring, like high key, very boring. And I think because Lime Crime is so controversial, they need to be doing stuff that is a little bit more like exciting and enticing and wanting people to buy this, and people like can't refuse. Because the Venus XL1, I know that got mixed reviews, but I wasn't gonna buy it, but I actually loved the look of that palette. I thought the bright pinks, it was a little overdone at the time, but like the bright pinks and all of that. I personally think if you have the Venus XL1, why would you need this one? Because it looks very similar to the XL1, just with some greens. It looks like a less exciting version of the XL1. I don't really understand this. I kind of think it would have been cool for them if they're gonna keep going on this theme. I think it would have been cool to do some, like, if they're gonna go with a green palette, like do green, you know what I mean? People keep releasing like mock-ups of blue and green palettes, all blue and green, and everyone loses their mind and then nobody makes them. And it's like, obviously the market, there are people who want just like a crazy blue and green, something out of the box palette. And I think this could have been it had they like gone for it more. I see they were going for kind of like an Adam and Evie outdoorsy nature vibe. This wasn't really my thing. I think it's just a little bit boring, to be perfectly honest. That's like my biggest gripe, I guess. Okay, I'm gonna call this out really quick because Becca does this like a lot. Becca does this thing where they release their shimmering skin perfectors, but they imprint something on it that's like hyper specific to a random occasion. Like, I'm pretty sure they would imprint like Abraham Lincoln's face on one for his birthday and just kind of sneakily sell it to people who happen to be crazy collectors of their makeup. So I guess they're doing something with the Lunar New Year, and I guess this year it's the year of the pig. So they've pressed a pig into a highlighter. It seems like it's a unique and different color, which is kind of cool, I guess. So at least it's not like they're reusing the same product and just pressing something different into it. At least it's its own product, which I kind of like. But this also looks identical to the Parisian Lights collab they did, where they just imprinted the Eiffel Tower on it. I don't really know what they're doing, but I guess if you're like a collector of Becca highlighters and you really like love all of these like limited edition ones they do, and to their credit, this type of stuff is typically limited edition. Like, this is definitely not going to be around all year, and that's probably because there's not a huge market for it. But it just seems kind of weird to me. Like, it's just a random, I guess that's more what it is. It's not that this is bad. Like, I'm sure this is good. I love Becca's highlighter formula, so I'm sure this is totally fine. It's more that this is just like random. Like, this is such a random weird thing. I was just scrolling through Trend Mood and it's like, oh, it's a highlighter impressed with a pig. I don't know. Do people buy them? I don't buy them. Are you buying them? Like, can somebody tell me if they're actually buying these limited edition Becca highlighters? Because they make absolutely no sense to me. Okay, this is what I really wanted to talk about. I feel like you guys asked me about this on a live stream, and I didn't have time to fully like think of my thoughts about this. But Urban Decay is coming out with a new palette, and it's called the Naked Reloaded palette. The outer packaging is super cool. It kind of looks like kaleidoscopy flame. It's really, really cool. I actually really like the outer packaging, and I'm glad they're kind of stepping that up because they're basically becoming a Tarte brand to me at this point, where the outer packaging looks really cool, but the inside is so boring. I feel like Urban Decay is just always like 3 steps behind of everyone else, because ABH released this palette. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Sultry palette. Like, I'll put a picture of the two right here, and you guys can see how absolutely identical the two of these are. They're literally the same palette. I literally would be hard pressed to spot too much of a difference. And to be perfectly honest with you guys, I like Anastasia's formula better than Urban Decay's, and Urban Decay's is gonna be more expensive. And it's also gonna go on sale after 2 weeks, so just wait 2 weeks before you buy it, because I promise it'll be on sale, because it's been all of their releases lately. This palette's gonna be $54, this one's $42. This was one of my favorite palettes of the year. I loved this palette. It was beautiful, and it's got the same exact color story to this. If you're looking into this, really look into getting the ABH one, because I'm not sponsored by ABH, there's no like shady stuff happening right now. I just think this is going to be a less better version, and it also has a lot more kind of warm tones to it, where ABH has a little bit more cool tones. I feel like if you're going to have all these cool tone type shimmers, you should just commit to being a cool tone palette, but they have this weird like terracotta orange section at the end that's very warm toned. I just think this is so similar to stuff that's already come out, and it's a shame too, because I think Urban Decay, first of all, I wish Urban Decay would stop doing the naked stuff, because I'm just over it at this point. Like, I don't want another naked palette, honestly. Like, I don't want one. I'm so sick of having naked palettes. There's too many at this point. It was cool when it was like a novelty, and now it's not. All of their palettes are naked palettes. I wish they would just come out with something really exciting. Just get me excited again. Nothing that Urban Decay has released, and I would have to say the past 2 years, has like genuinely made me excited. Like, none of their releases make me excited anymore. They're all so boring and bland, and I'm just like, there's nothing for me, and this goes right along with it. They're always 2 steps behind. They release like ever since the Naked Heat, honestly. They released the Naked Heat, and everybody had already been doing warm tones all year. It was the wrong time. Then they did the Naked Cherry after everybody had already released purples and pink tones, and now they're doing this when everybody's leaning more towards cool tones, and they're just behind on the market. Like, they need to hire whoever is in charge of their conceptual ideas or whatever, because they're not doing a good job. Sorry, it was a little harsher than I meant to be, but it was also the tea. I'm not gonna lie, the ColourPop I Love Sarah E collaboration looks basically like both of Kathleen Light's collaboration. If they were to put that into one palette and add a pop of coral, that's basically what that looks like. This is kind of a short one. I don't know who I Love Sarah E is. I'm sure she's a very nice YouTuber, but I think this palette is very boring. I've seen a couple reviews that have made some really pretty looks with this, but I think that's the thing about ColourPop palettes, is like they're designed very well, because basically any of the ColourPop palettes I have, I can get a really pretty look out of those palettes. Most of them. They're kind of designed to give you a pretty look no matter what you do, and the formula they have is pretty good, so all of their palettes look really appealing, but then when you put them together, like if you're collecting them and you have too many, you just have way too many similar shades. Like, I have almost all of these colors in other ColourPop palettes. I have the yellow, my Yes Please. I have that white Lucido. I have that in my Yes Please palette. I have In a Wink in my Femme Rosa. I have Misbehave in my Femme Rosa. I have Nostalgia in my Femme Rosa. I have something similar to Emerald Green in my Kathleen Lights palette. Like, it just goes on. And again, I think with ColourPop, their color stories are just too repetitive, to the point where they're pretty and they're good, but when you're trying to buy a lot from the brand, you don't have a wide array of options. Does that make sense? So something that is a little bit more indie is actually a new palette that is coming out from Blush Tribe. It is called the Sonia Zareen palette, and it's also a collection. Here's the tea about Blush Tribe. So I actually really like the palettes I got from them for Christmas. I've been using them a lot, and I thoroughly have been enjoying. I have the Malika and the Fall Fusion. Fall Fusion is discontinued, and I'm interested to try more from them. Like, I actually am, but I'm a little bit kind of just, I understand. The owner basically said in her Instagram that she wanted this to be more of like a bridal makeup palette, and she wanted this to be more of a neutral palette because her brand does not have a lot of neutral palettes. It's very colorful, which I totally understand as a a brand wanting to do that. However, this is not a palette that I need. You know what I mean? The problem when you're kind of establishing as a new brand in a world that is already completely oversaturated with makeup, the problem becomes, of course you want to have a neutral palette because every brand kind of needs their like staple neutral palette, and I get that, but so many people already have neutral palettes that not everyone is going to be super interested in this. I do give her credit for putting in still some interesting shades. There's some blues and some greens, but these just aren't anything that I'm calling my name. Like I kind of look at it and I'm just like, like it's just kind of bland. It's a little bit boring. I don't think this is super interesting. I understand why she did it. The owner, still not my thing. You know what I mean? Just something I'm definitely gonna pass on. So I'm gonna talk about Benefit really quick because I've been kind of letting them fly under the radar a little bit. And I've kind of been letting them just, you know, come out with this stuff that doesn't make sense. They did a collab with Decay Perkins where they did an entire brow kit. The whole thing was like $60, which is crazy expensive for brow products. And also it was already brow products they had already put out. They just put her favorite ones into a box and put her name on it and called it a collab, which, like, whatever, there's nothing I can do about that. I thought that was a little bit shady. It didn't seem, it was a money grab. It was definitely just them being like, let's see how many fans we can get of hers we can get to buy this, you know, $60 box of brows that's like Decay Perkins approved, with cool packaging and limit. It was basically the same thing they did when they had all of those influencers pose on like Manny MUA. It was like the Hoola bronzer and Jeffree Star was like the primer. It kind of seemed like that, where it's the same exact products that you can just buy, but they put an influencer on it. So this isn't the first time they've done something like this, but this time it just seemed extra scammy because they were upping the price of like their stuff. I get that if you bought the box, it was like a good value, but like realistically, nobody needs all of that stuff. Like, I don't know. The other problem I have is now I don't think Benefit has come out with a new and original concept literally since I've been aware of the brand. They have a roller liner and a roller eye bright pencil. So it looks like one is like a white pencil and one is a liquid eyeliner. Kind of similar to Urban Decay, but it's like Urban Decay on crack. Like, they literally refuse to come up with new and innovative ideas. I don't know if the people at Benefit are just like asleep all the time and they just can't be bothered to think of something that is like creative and interesting. I think the reason Benefit is kind of slowly, everyone's kind of losing interest in them, because I think they are. Besides their brow products, I haven't heard anyone really rave about Benefit in a long time. They've not put out any sort of like eyeshadow palettes. And the thing is, I think their brand aesthetic could be cool if they could, number one, be cohesive, because one minute they're trying to sell me like this 50s housewife woman who's on The Professional, and the next they're doing the California that's like this crazy hippy dippy, you know, style packaging. It's all really all over the place, so it's very different. And two, instead of doing different things, they just expand on what they already have, because now you're like, oh my gosh, I love the Benefit Roller Lash, because I do actually love this mascara. Benefit's mascaras, fantastic. There I go, raving about something. Their mascaras are great, but now I'm like, wouldn't it be so cute to pair it with a little mini eyeliner that I'll never use and is probably just like decent, subpar. I think Benefit, the reason their brand is ultimately going to die, probably not die, but the reason I think they're kind of sliding into makeup irrelevancy is because they refuse to do anything new. They refuse to push the limits. And with so many makeup brands that are just descending into the world right now, and with every day there's something new, and there's so many makeup brands, so many people bringing new, innovative, fascinating stuff out here. It's just like, we can't just keep doing the same old boring stuff. Brands can't just keep getting by on doing something tired and old, reusing concepts and boring. It's not gonna fly anymore. There's too much makeup for you to pull this Benefit. So that's all I have to say about that. All right, friends, that was my first anti-haul of the new year. Oh my gosh. Was it good? I hope it was good. I was having a panic attack the whole video, so I hope everything turned out fine. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching this video, and thank you so much for being here. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, or just like, or just subscribe, or do neither. Honestly, just so happy you're here watching me. Thank you for being here. I love you guys so much. You can check out everything I'm wearing on my face, all of my social medias, and my merch down below in the description, and a whole bunch of other like fun stuff. And yeah, I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!